This is a carol for a Gray Foster clock. The episode's first line, and she couldn't be more accurate in the final. We witnessed Phil break out on this episode. His quest to locate an unintentionally abandoned Carol, but it starts this time. Carol's viewpoint is one that could fact be more gloomy than Phil's, while he can look for her Carol actively, essentially constrained to staying in one spot. That location was a petrol station in Oklahoma. She is only waiting and being patient, wishing Phil was creative enough to discover the most direct route to her. The fundamentals of The Last Man on Earth. The recipe in last week's debut was friendship between Carol and Phil forever. In essence, it appeared to be both. Phil and their bond had developed over time. A little bit between having kids and the East Coast represented in progress. So exquisitely in the season's opening episode. The crocodiles of emotion in the first act of the book, by demonstrating that Phil genuinely committed to his relationship. Carol provides much needed support. Basically the outlines of their dynamic. Phil and the entire show both have an opinion. Carol with more consideration, and the last men on Earth seem to be very better off as a result. Removing them so soon as the only option makes the development more obvious. Did anyone anticipating having chills when Carol noticed that she feels lettered on the side of the train? May see her to the right, losing hope, and the new one's not responding. It appears he was looking in the wrong place. During the entire leaving petrol station, Carol will have hamburger sticks and nacho cheese. Weeks without a break by the time we see Carol wearing the same Oklahoma shirt that was previously playing is currently. She is all smeared in fake juice. Slim Jims into what appears to be making canned nacho cheese. Fill out of chewing sculptures. She uses toothpaste, cigarettes, and is a conversation with one of those tall dancers. Balloons that often float in the outside of auto lots you've visited. Let me tap in, since she tells me to every day. Prior to standing up and attempting to imitate, I eagerly anticipate the zany dance. When there have been enough of those times on television and film to create a supercut. Meanwhile, Phil is back and making decisions, attempting to come up with a method to inform Carol, where he initially gets the idea for the cover line. One of his 30 mags, it says. He writes, Betty's gorgeous balloons. Messages on a group of real balloons. Throws them into the air, obviously. The approach does not function as intended. Wishes it would, but then he notices a train. And he writes, after having a really amazing idea. A massive message on a number of trains. Send a train on its merry way and deliver automobiles. How miraculously it works. Simply. After igniting her balloon companions, she ignites the last two row flames in and Carol makes an effort to catch Phil's attention. Is awakened by the sound of the train rushing past Carol. This is Phil. I'm not on the train. Big no readings. There are certain issues with interest. Particularly the possibility that Carol would be nearby this railroad, I'm sure. Nonetheless, this isn't a program that inevitably aims to be realistic, and thus the setting is lovely in a manner that only could be a post-apocalyptic rom-com. Being skeptical of this mystical coincidence. Very difficult to stay current with everything from this summary series by joining our channel Enhancing the Miraculous Carol. She eventually arrives at a particularly field that had been destroyed. Their next plan was to, that is, send a steamroller along the road. Before the steamroller, that was the plan. Smashed Bad Price, who only recently caught wind. Phil says of the moment, knocked out of him. It's hilarious when a soccer ball is deflated. Boisterous and light-hearted statement that Surprisingly, the globe is in a downbeat mood. Is completely unfamiliar to us, where soccer balls in nomination are simply as vital to this individual as breathing. Hence, when Bryce acquires it, Ran overreacts hysterically and feels humorous and oddly perceptible you'd fear if one of your last buddies is in trouble. The planet nearly perished, wouldn't you say? Sin turns from a painfully humorous to a much more furious when he hits me self several times and begs for forgiveness. Deserving of solitude thankfully, this. As soon as Carol arrives, she gives her a kiss. They undress him, calling him a love conductor, and engage in sexual activity straight away. Basically, it looks like a scene from a movie. Later, in the Nicholas Sparks film, they travel. Phil returns to Carol's home after discovering a message from the rest of the group to Carol. Chosen crew actually ditched. They left for Malibu from Arizona. Carol to join them, but there is a catch: she cannot. Please bring her money, and please don't bring Tani the memo stating it won't be there. Logically secure Phil conceals the memo in this. May be taken as Phil coming back. According to his season 1 jerk trends, he form of acting, although it could also taken to mean that Phil is just conserving his life while escaping an illness that killed, removing the majority of the people before subsequently passing away at the hands of another movie. Miller is silent. In particular, his guilt eventually moment he discovers Carol catches up to him, weeping about how she misses being alone, her buddies, and feels like making an effort. Uncomfortable positions with an additional huge and particularly ugly copy of the. He informs her that the other field is useless. She doesn't want to go where they are. She would rather stay there than go there. Phil's safe. The exchange is great overall. I'm deliciously ill to a degree. Phil warns her that he is afraid to go there, yet I'm even more afraid of you walking away. I'm simply doing it because it makes me happy. What individuals do for others they care about. Carrie screamed, attempting to clarify, telling Phil that skipping Malibu is a mistake. She wants to make these bastards her sacrifice. Phil concurs that aren't such jerks after all. To continue and select and advises they take a few pictures to commemorate the decision. Is immediately clear that he truly doesn't want to drink. You simply want Carol to get really drunk. So, in order for him to place, I am aware that she is in the rear of the RV. This is true, but it doesn't sound very nice. This plot's creativity will push her. Time Carol wakes up, she notices they have a placard stating they are in the Golden. Claims that she seems to begin berating Phil, but not before she commends him for being so. Once more acting selflessly, these pair from being really obnoxious and last season was horribly unsuited to enhancing each other's peculiarities, and to pretend to be truly in love is admirable. Fortunately, finding it doesn't take very long. When a team arrived in Malibu, they lighted a. Carol notices the beach fire and the smoke. Phil is still dangerous, therefore both of them performed as handcrafted puppet disguises from the previous week and chose to let Carol go first rather than approaching her, talking to them normally and stating, "Hey everyone, I'm back." She approaches and shouts, "Oh." This disturbs the quiet scrolls. Sing-alongs aren't always bad. What is the worst aspect of their being? Will Ferrell's character as a new person in a unexpected cameo by a real person. Carol's humorous boo made her nervous, so fearful of falling to the earth and having a heart attack. Carol, obviously, had no intention of hurting the new person, but as we've observed that the preferred team isn't the most compassionate or reasonable in order to Carol instructs everyone to soften the blow. Phil is also deceased, but nobody appears to know. She then modifies her account in order to care. Make an effort to feel some pity for Phil, but morning Gordon, everyone is too busy. As soon as the gang is about to alter their Phil, keep in mind that he holds them at, delivers an improper message at gunpoint. Monologue describing their importance too. Phil is then punished and imprisoned. In a pillory, he confronts his make corrections and accept punishment. The initial 2 episodes have distinct and entertainingly new. A full commitment to the pledge. The first episode of season 1 displayed the keeping it like way even poses a difficulty, with the remaining costs being reimbursed. Please continue Malibu Weird Last Man.